Guys, I don't know about you as MMA fans, but for me, it's been a very, very sad ride seeing Alexander Volkanovski lose his recent fights and in the way that he lost his recent fights, getting knocked out. We're worried about him out of his prime now. We're worried about him being washed. We're worried about his chin, and we are worried about his whole attitude when it comes to fighting. Well, Alexander Volkanovski just did a brand new interview with Submission Radio, and we had a little bit of disappointing news. Well, depending on the way you look at it, as a big Alexander Volkanovski fan who honestly wants the best for him, it's not the greatest news. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's talk about Alexander Volkanovski. So, of course, with everything going on with Conor McGregor right now, Michael Chandler, we don't know if the fight's still going on. Alexander Volkanovski said that he would step in and save the day again. Now, don't get me wrong. As a fan of MMA, the hype would be great. Volkanovski being there is always exciting. Volk at 155 is awesome. The memes would be great of this person pulls out and then you hear the da-da-da-da-da-da, you know what I mean? It would be hilarious. But as an Alexander Volkanovski fan who legitimately likes the person, who cares about the rest of his career, I don't like the idea. To be fair, Volkanovski did say that he's only going to come in and save the day for the UFC if it's a big fight. But headlining 303 is definitely a big fight. If he wants to come in there, it's at the end of the month. Oh, man. Regardless if he's fighting Conor McGregor or Michael Chandler, dude. He's not ready for this. What happened to Alexander Volkanovski taking time off? And I've always agreed with Lucas Tracy, guys, about the way that Alexander Volkanovski is going to go out. I could just see it coming because he has that can-do attitude, right? He needs to stand up for himself. He needs to prove to the fans where he belongs in the division. He wants to go in there and be a warrior. That's a great mindset to have, but at the end of the day, you're getting old now. Your chin might be gone. You need to work on your body. What happened to Alexander Volkanovski taking time off for the year? I get that it's a big paycheck. I get that you can come in, but what's probably going to happen whether he fights both? I don't know about McGregor because we don't know how washed he is, right? But Michael Chandler will floor Alexander Volkanovski, dude. If it was Prime Volk, it'd be a different story, but it's just going to go like the Topuria fight. It's going to go just like the Islam Makhachev fight. If Alexander Volkanovski steps in, and we don't even know if it's this fight, if he wants a short notice fight against, like, for the BMF title, I know they've been working on, and even let's say that Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler gets postponed or scrapped, they're going to need a main event. They're going to call in somebody big. I don't know what's going to happen. Alexander Volkanovski is willing to step in there and fight somebody. And even if he said that he was open to just saving the day for the UFC in general, like, I don't like this, man. I don't like this for Alexander Volkanovski. I get that he just wants big fights, but big fights are arguably even worse. I'm really sad. I don't want to see him go out this way. No matter who he comes up against, he's going to show up out of shape. He's going to show up a little bit chubby. And I get it. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. And he can do what he wants. I know I'm just a guy sitting behind my microphone over here. But as a guy who really cares about him, I don't want to see him go out like Tony Ferguson. I don't want to see him go out like BJ Penn. I don't want to see him go out like these guys. And unfortunately, that's what I see in Alexander Volkanovski's future. I see him still trying to win in his 40s because you got to stand up for yourself. You got to prove all the doubters wrong. You got to get up. You got to move forward, and you got to just do what you got to do. You want to make your way back to the championship, and I know that's something I can do, and that's what Alexander Volkanovski is probably going to say until he's in his 40s, man, until he's forced to get out of the UFC. Look what's going on with Tony Ferguson. I see the exact same thing, and that's what I loved what Lucas Tracy's been talking about for years now, because I've always said the same thing. I know I obviously didn't have a platform, so I could just be capping right now. I understand that before you comment that, but I don't have any reason to lie for this, but I'm just worried. Alexander Volkanovski is one of my favorite fighters. It's unfortunate to see the way that he goes out, and I hope that the UFC actually doesn't use Alexander Volkanovski to step in at UFC 303, assuming that the fight is canceled. I want him to wait. I want him to heal up. I want him to train. I don't want him to step in again and potentially get finished. It really, really worries me, no matter who the opponent is. It's just the sad times that we live in this sport sometimes, you know? It creates the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. Sucks for Alexander Volkanovski, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. Let me know what you think about this down below. Take care.